All right. Morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Market Trading. I am your host, Tone Vays. All right. Everything's good. Markets have just opened 4 minutes ago. Man, what the crazy news breaks yesterday right after my show. Right after I finished Swan Spaces, I'm like, holy shit, what's happening with Binance? So let's go straight to the charts. I do want to join Swan's Spaces today because that's probably going to be the point of discussion. Like, there's no rest in crypto. I mean, all these stories are the same. It's the same story. I mean, exchanges have been, like, the government has been going after exchanges for like 5 years now. But the exchanges just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Story's no different. But I like the fact that it didn't affect the price. That's awesome. So we're going to go straight to the daily chart. The daily chart is starting to show a little bit of concern. So we will jump right into the oscillators and we'll go there. The RSI is certainly declining, and I don't want to see it go all the way down into oversold territory. So hopefully we can make a higher swing high than, hopefully we stay above 50. That's the goal. The goal is to stay above 50, reverse at 50. You know, it's done it before. So let's see where that goes. The MACD is crossing over. That is not a good sign. The last time the MACD crossed over was in January of 2023, was over here, January 23, and that did not, that wasn't very good. Well, it must have crossed over again. Hold on. Yeah, that wasn't the last time. The last time was here, but this is the one that's more compatible. So that's not good. The CMF, however, is good. I will trust the CMF more than I will trust the MACD. So even though MACD is moving average based and I like moving averages, I really like the CMF. The CMF is saying that there's still lots of buying happening, and the CMF is suggesting this is a buy the dip situation. Managed to mute in time. Let's look at the price action. The price action is a little bit troublesome, but we have very, very strong support at 25,000. If Bitcoin makes it back to 25,000, I will consider the area of 25,000 similar to the area at 20,000. But let's see what kind of support we get. Over here, we had like 4 reasons, 5 even. Over here, we had 5 reasons to be bullish. Okay, we had 2 moving averages that we bounced off of. We had a reversal candle, we had an MRI buy, and we had the round number of 20,000, which was somewhat critical in the past, or the vicinity of that number. I like round numbers. I do. So we can have the same thing here, only it's impossible for us to have 2 moving averages. We can have 1 moving average, but unlike 20,000, we actually have legit prior swing high support. So that is another area of support, making up for the fact that we only have 1 moving average. And we can still get a reversal candle. That would be great. This can happen on an MRI buy. That would be great. So it's possible to have 5 areas of support, just like we did here at 20K. And that would be absolutely perfect. That is my reasonable downside target. I actually think it would be very good and healthy for Bitcoin to make it to 25,000, as long as it happens slowly and not quickly. Like if it drops, let's say $500 on the last candle, that's okay. But I don't want to see it drop there today. Dropping there today is trouble. Going down to say 25.5 for the next 6 days, that's fine. And then like on Monday or Tuesday, we crash down to 25 and then we rally right off that. So that is a reasonable, very reasonable path for Bitcoin and a healthy one. I just want to stress the fact that a pullback to 25,000 right now would be incredibly healthy. It would remind me, and by the way, I added on this chart, let me just cue these up. Oh, I don't need this. I tried to add the areas where I was bearish, and this chart is now way too cluttered. I'm going to separate this chart. I'm going to have one chart for where I'm very, very bullish and one chart for where I'm very, very bearish, or historically was bullish and bearish. Okay. Drop the camera off because it's blocking that upper right corner. So I did this with my memory. I do have evidence for all of this, but I just have to, dig it up. Back here, you have to find articles. If we're going to go over here, there's articles. I can point you to those articles, how I was bearish back here at 500 and 300. And even here at 300, how I was bearish. I gotta dig those up. I was writing TA for Cointelegraph. Why did I go to this chart again? I forget. Oh, like look at this. Look, this is how many reasons I am bullish right here as we bounced up at 20,000. Of all of these other ones, this has like the longest list of reasons to be bullish. Okay, let's go to the weekly chart. Let's glance at the oscillators. Let's see if they're topping as well. The RSI is still very clean and rising. The MACD is still very clean and rising. And the CMF is looking amazing, actually. Wow. Wow. So the weekly chart is absolutely telling you this is a pullback in a bullish market. We had a huge jump in the Lucid SAR. The moving average crossover is coming. Not the golden cross, but a cross nonetheless. So this is great. Once again, if we can make it to that 25 and a half area, but on the weekly chart, next week, the support is at, just under 26. So it's actually a bit higher. The weekly chart looks great. Our allocation chart, should we worry in our allocation? Not yet. Until these moving averages start to cross over, there's no reason to assume you shouldn't be in a bullish position. Okay. These are the articles, by the way. We should have added. This was an old page I used to have. I don't know what happened to it. It's going to be added to here somewhere, I hope. These are all the articles I've written. The oldest one I have is in July of 2014. And this is a very good educational tutorial on trading as well. And you can go ahead and find areas where I was bullish and bearish. I went through a bunch of these this weekend. Wow, I had some good calls actually back in that 2014 bear market. All right, let's go through the markets real quick. Then we'll talk about Binance for 5 minutes. This is the short-term chart. The 4-hour chart does not look very good. And all the metrics will, of course, not look good. I do want to see the funding rate. See, the funding rate is still very, very bearish. Like the bull market hasn't even started yet, according to the funding rate. Let's see where GBTC discounts heading. It's hanging out there. Well, it's definitely off the lows. The lows were almost at negative 50, and then it was hanging out negative 45. At least now it's in the mid 30s, and hopefully we'll be in less than 30 soon. With every bull step, this discount should get smaller and smaller. This is oil. Wow, look at oil go. The US is going to be in a lot of trouble if they don't start refilling that strategic oil reserve. They may have to deplete it more to keep oil prices down because another election is going to be here around the corner. So this headline was a lie, clearly, right? I still have this headline up, and I explain how the government lies to you with headlines. On February 13th, Bloomberg came out with the headline from the government officials that they are going to sell 26 million more barrels of oil from the strategic oil reserve. I know the data is going to come out like tomorrow or on Thursday, but that headline is February 13. So if we go to the week of February 13, right here, February 17, data comes out, and there's still no change in the oil reserve. Okay, so maybe next week. No. Maybe next week. No. So clearly they lie. This administration is very open to lying. They see it as a higher power. It doesn't matter. It's how they got in power in the first place. Lies. It doesn't matter. It's one thing to say something and then you change your mind or you happen to be wrong. But no, this was an outright lie. If you tell Bloomberg you're going to release 26 million more barrels, but then you don't, that's a lie. I mean, you should have said that when you're actually doing it. And you can see the headline. This was February 13th. This is the daily chart. Right here. This is where they said it. It was at the top. This headline was at the top. And then we went back to that top because the market, a week later, said, wait a minute, you're not selling the strategic oil reserve. But they talked the market down. Then it went back up. It never made new highs. They must have said something here as well. And we got to check the headlines. What happened in early March? And to this day, they still haven't sold more strategic oil reserve. They talked the market down. So they may still start selling it later. We'll see what happens. But I think oil has bottomed. And the government also said they were going to start replenishing the strategic oil reserve once oil drops below, I think, 80. And they never did. We can see when they stopped withdrawing from the strategic oil reserve. The last withdrawal was at the end of December. The last withdrawal, I'm not going to count this one. It went from 372 to 371. That's just, 1 million barrels. It's not a big deal. But here, 3 million barrels, right? So the last real withdrawal was the last week of December, between Christmas and New Year's. They wanted you to get to your party cheaper. And right here, early January, right here was the last one. So this is where they were still withdrawing. Like that first week of January, they withdrew 1 million barrels from the strategic reserve. And there was a public statement a while back that once the price is below 80, they would consider buying oil to replenish it. And it's been below 80 a lot, and they still haven't done it. Right now, oil is at prior horizontal resistance, and let's see if it pulls back, but I think we're going to be off to the races. There should be a green star candle coming in next candle. Oh, no, a couple of more candles. A couple of more candles for a green star. I think the next green star will start the bull market. Oh, boy, I'm down to 10 minutes here. Natural gas is at a historical low. Oh, man, I would be bullish. I know there is all this new technology, and natural gas is a lot easier to extract, and there's when your national interest requires you lying, you're not politically wrong. That is true. That is a true statement. I've talked about the cyclical nature of natural gas. Like I said, I know natural gas is a way bigger industry now, but and there is this ESG initiative to destroy the use of natural gas. Meanwhile, the technology of extracting natural gas is getting better and better. I'm gonna stick to TA and history, and we are approaching a level where natural gas goes up 100 to 200%. I would be looking at natural gas very carefully right now, very carefully. Even the daily MRI buy would be of interest to me. Oh, that's tomorrow. Look at this. B, C, and tomorrow MRI buy coming in. Wouldn't be second consecutive, actually. Very, very interesting. How is it on monthly? Nope, that's 12 month. The monthly still has a lot of downside to go. I would just watch this chart. Gold, I am bullish on gold as well. S&P, man, S&P has been consolidating like crazy, just like Bitcoin. People are still concerned about the market. I have not given up on the bullish trend. I came very close to giving up on the bullish trend. I have not. I will need it to break below this 12-year channel. There's a 12-year channel, and I will need the S&P to break below that channel without, a government-created shutdown, like COVID. Like this was artificial. That's not. This is artificial. This is the government did this because they didn't have to do it. The economy did not have to shut down over a cold. That was insane. My thoughts on Russian nuclear weapons in Belarus. I don't have time to get into that. Do you think Russia can use nuclear weapons and hit Lithuania and Poland from Belarus? They can hit the UK in a matter of seconds. They're not going to hit Lithuania and Poland with a nuke. That makes no sense at all. If they're hitting anybody, it's probably the UK. They don't need to put them there for Poland and Belarus. Trust me, they can hit those countries from Moscow within a second. Do you know how fast some of these hypersonics fly? The only reason to put them in Belarus is if they're actually going to be shooting them the west coast of Europe or to the US, because then shaving a second off that time matters. A difference between 15 seconds and 20 seconds is big. The difference between 1 second and 2 seconds is not. So there's no reason to put them there for Belarus and Poland. That's insane. No, they'll hit London way faster than 18 minutes. Like, again, I haven't done the math, but Russia has rockets that are, I think they're up to Mach 20 now. Like, it's insane. I think they can hit London less than a minute. But fact check me on that. I don't know. I don't want to start Googling how fast certain countries can be nuked in a Google search. Yeah, 20 is maybe US, Canada. That makes sense. It's a little bit further. No, it's less than 20. Plus, they wouldn't fire them from there. They'd fire them from a submarine. I mean, there'd be a submarine that would be able to hit the US within a minute. The goal is under a minute. I have a feeling they can hit UK in under a minute, at worst 2 minutes. No, trust me, the Belarus move is for the UK because the UK provided the depleted uranium shells to the UK provided depleted uranium shells to the Ukrainians. The move to put those in Belarus is a warning to the UK. It's not a warning to Poland. Yeah, they are smaller, but they'll still cause damage. Yeah, Google it. I was like, this is so ironic. Let me go to YouTube. Again, super dangerous. This was the COVID-19 hearing. That was great, like I said. And do I dare go to history? Here, I'm almost done listening to this. Oh, sorry, not this one. I'm almost done listening to that one. It's this one. I was listening to this yesterday. Literally the House hearing on hypersonic weapons. And this is how I know Russia and China have 20 Mach speed hypersonic missiles, because these guys stated it publicly. They had a short public meeting about hypersonic technology and how far behind the US is in hypersonic technology, and then they had a closed door meeting. So this is how, I'm not an expert on hypersonic missiles, but at least I've watched a Senate hearing from 2 weeks ago. Already finished watching this on American hypersonic technology, and we don't have it. It's really that simple. We don't have it. And China and or Russia have 20 Mach speed missiles, which are like at least 10 times faster than ours. Not 10, maybe 5. Okay. This consolidation is not great. Probably another leg down. Well, what else is I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about something. Oh, Binance in 3 minutes. Okay, so the CFTC has come out against Binance and CZ personally, accusing him of running all kinds of illegal operations. Now, there's 2 other departments I am waiting on to drop their big lawsuits. One is the Department of Justice with a criminal case against CZ, and the other is the SEC with a security case against CZ. This is a commodities case against CZ. And Samuel Lim is in the center of it. I should have thrown these into the video description. This was an interesting article. So here's why I think that the Department of Justice is gonna throw a criminal charge at CZ. So here, this complaint alleges that in February 2019, after receiving information regarding Hamas transactions, and Hamas is a Middle Eastern government agency, in a way, on Binance, Lim explained to a colleague that terrorists usually send small sums as large sums constitute money laundering. Lim's colleague replied, can barely buy an AK-47 with $600. So basically, they're alleging that Binance knew that there was terrorist financing going on through Binance, and they did nothing about it. So this article just goes through some of the crazy things, some of the crazy statements from Lim and CZ that are in this indictment. This was 70 pages. I have not had a chance to read it. Man, we need a law show badly. But this is bad. Now, the CFTC, all the CFTC can do is a fine. The CFTC, they can also get them to delist a bunch of stuff. Yes, they are claiming that Ethereum is a commodity in this case, but that doesn't matter. The SEC can still go after them for 3 different reasons. The SEC can go after them for engaging and letting people trade securities on their platform. They can go after them for offering yield products, which are securities. And the big kahuna is they can go after them for the Binance token being a security itself. That's the big kahuna. My thoughts on yesterday's tragedy with the school shooting. I have not looked into the details. I don't really. I mean, my condolences. Like I said, I haven't read into it. I saw Biden's speech about ice cream and children in the back row, the pretty children standing in the back row and talking about ice cream instead of addressing the unfortunate shooting. From my understanding, is the shooter was trans, and it's not the first time. Let me not get into the whole trans issue. This does not deter my view that the United States should remain let's say, open to carrying firearms country, one of the few remaining countries in the world for that. And there needs to be a lot better mental health facilities and resources for people, and better security at schools. Well, Saudi Arabia dropped $1 for oil trade. Yeah, eventually, yeah. Eventually and soon. The older I get, the more I realize the U.S. is not going to change its gun laws. The best you have to find a way to live with it as best you can. All right, guys, I'm going to join Swan's Spaces. I want to glance at the probability for the next Fed funds rate. Wow, we are 50-50 whether it goes up or not. I think they will not raise, but we will see. Personally, I would send my kids to a school where teachers are armed. I would like to see teachers armed. Not by force, voluntarily. If a teacher is been properly trained and has, some kind of certification that they have taken all of these gun safety courses and they know how to shoot, and the teacher wants to carry a gun while teaching a class, that would be a school I would be very interested in sending my kids. But again, I would expect that teacher to voluntarily submit to a mental exam that the teacher is sane to carry a gun, and that the teacher has been properly trained to use a gun, and that would be a school of interest for me to send my kids. And they have some of these schools, mostly private schools in certain states. My view also is that the FBI knows about a lot of these things, and they're probably, let's just say the FBI and their knowledge of these kinds of people and what these people can do have been known to cause more harm than good. Also, the older I get, the more I think that the FBI should be completely abolished, like don't even exist, kind of like the IRS. You just abolish them. It's like Ron Paul said. He's like, when I mean we should, I forgot if he said it about the IRS or the Fed. I think he said it about the IRS. His quote was, when I say we should reform the IRS, I mean remove the agency and replace it with nothing. That's also my view on the FBI. I think the FBI should be abolished and replaced with nothing, just like the IRS. Abolished and replaced with nothing. Again, I wouldn't want to force the teacher to be armed, but if they choose to be, they should be. The problem is 99.9% of teachers are Marxists, so and they're very anti-guns. So this is very rare. All right, guys, thank you all for watching. And I will see you all on the next one. I still like this consolidation, and even if we pull back to 25, it's very, very healthy. Talk to you all soon.